In this video, what I want to talk about is integrating lighting in an under cabinet application. Okay. In an earlier video, I talked about electricians and actual units that electricians typically use, not all, in a lit kitchen area. And it's usually something like this, where you're hardwiring. There's a wire that gets pulled out or stubbed out of the wall Romex. They hardwire right into the actual unit itself, and away you go. When we're looking at an actual kitchen environment like this, what we are trying to obtain is task lighting. Okay? This is actually one of the highest light outputs you can find in a hardwire unit like this. When this is underneath a kitchen like this, what we're trying to obtain is lighting to the backsplash and lighting all the way up to the front edge of the countertop. So I always recommend lights to actually be placed as far forward as possible, because we're dealing with that light angle. You're going to have light to the front end of your countertop and the back end. When you look at task lighting, look at the difference in light output between this unit and this unit underneath this kitchen. This is our Eurolinks. It's not our brightest, it's not our lowest light output, it's somewhere in between. But you can tell the difference between using a wrong ambiance style light versus a task light. Look at the difference in lighting here versus here. If you're working in a kitchen on a countertop, you want task lighting. Why? Because we're chopping vegetables, we're preparing meals, we're doing everything that we do in a typical kitchen application. You want a good source of light for underneath that cabinet. But also, you don't want to see large fixtures. Okay? What we're trying to do is conceal. Again, a properly designed kitchen that integrates lighting into its application. The light itself, the homeowner should say, where is that light coming from? Because we aren't trying to sell lighting per se, or the actual light fixture. What we're trying to do is sell the whole kitchen and illuminate that kitchen. And what they're buying is the cabinets. They don't want to see light fixtures. So with LED, what we do is we conceal it. We pull it all the way up to the front end of the cabinet, as far up as possible, and that's how we actually wire a kitchen underneath. You'll find most of our LED fixtures are going to be small enough to fit under standard recesses to allow you not to have to use a light rail. Some folks like that look of a light rail. Either way, the whole concept is concealing the light underneath. So now that we have a fixture that can be concealed and isn't big, bulky like this that'll be seen, the other thing that we have to take in consideration is what that light is going to look like on your countertops. Currently, the big trend in countertops is sheen surfaces. Granite has been popular for many years, but quartz is also making a huge impact in the world of countertops. But what they have in common is they both, 9 times out of 10, are a very high sheen product. And when I say high sheen, they sort of act like a mirror. And if you decide that you're going to utilize a light for underneath your cabinet, not only do you have to worry about that showing what the fixture is going to look like, you also have to take into consideration, if you're going to use LEDs that are diode points like this, you're going to see that reflection as well into the actual countertop itself. So when I typically recommend lighting for under cabinet, I recommend lights that are very low profile, that could be concealed, but more importantly, are luniformed. You're going to see the difference in a luniform diode on that countertop versus a pinpoint diode. This fixture has been luniformed. As you can see, there's no diode points. When that's over the actual counter itself, or the top itself, you see a consistent flow. It's not harsh pinpoint hotspot lights on your actual countertop. It's a nice flow of light. Now, unfortunately, any type of sheen surface, you're going to see everything. So you will see a little bit of a shine like this. but most consumers are used to fluorescent or seeing a fluorescent style light underneath a counter from years ago. So this is actually going to mimic more of what your fluorescence or what your natural light's going to look like under a cabinet than what a pinpoint diode light would look like. So pinpoint diodes is nothing that I would ever recommend. The other thing is task lighting. I showed you task lighting with what a line voltage hardwire unit would look like, but this is another product that I always see going into kitchens, tape. I discussed tape a little bit earlier in another video about why not to use tape in kitchens, but let's look at the actual light output of tape under a cabinet as well. This is considered a high output tape, high output lighting. That light underneath would look like this. I'm going to plug in my Eurolinks again, and when you look at the Eurolinks, the actual Eurolinks itself is not our highest, like I said before, light output, but it's not our lowest either. It's somewhere in between. But you're going to notice a huge difference. If you're putting tape like this versus this, you are not getting task lighting with any type of the high output tape. Then the other thing that you're going to get with tape is the diode points. The misconception that I see with tape is, well, in order to not get diode points on the countertop, they tape it against the recess like this. What you've just done is your light's now shining only backwards. You're getting no downlight compared to what it should look like. So when I'm recommending lighting for under cabinet, I recommend a luniform light and I recommend a light fixture. A lot of people gravitate towards the tape because the thought process is, well, I can cut it wherever I want and it's less expensive than other products that are out there. I can't buy a fixture for the same cost that I could buy tape. That too is false. If I'm going to look at this particular kitchen and I want to do a good, better, best scenario, I will start with our 120M, which is this puck. It's a straight line voltage. I eliminate any need for power supplies. It could be hardwired direct to a hardwire box, to a light switch, or to a dimmer switch. But note that if you're going to dim this particular light, the dim level will only drop to 50%. As you're going to see when this light comes on, this is a very bright light. 50% is a significant amount of dim, and this is a great entry-level light. I'll have another video that explains pricing. This actually is going to be your least expensive option, less expensive than any other option, including the tape option that we have here. But let me show you the light output. Why I like this light is there is no power supply necessary. You plug them directly in to an outlet or hardwire it, and then each light just plugs directly into itself. There's no need for an electrician to hardwire anything because you can just plug and play. It's also luniform. The actual diodes themselves have been luniformed. Therefore, you have a nice consistent flow of light underneath your cabinet. It's a task light, a high output light, and you don't get the dot effects that you would typically get with pinpoint LEDs underneath. This is a good entry-level light for this application. In the world of good, better, best, the next light that I would recommend is this, our Eurolinks. The Eurolinks actually have the diodes embedded into the side of the panel. They're shooting this way versus down. And then we have a special acrylic that's allowing it to capture that light, giving you down lighting. Therefore, the diodes are luniformed, and you get a nice, strong, consistent flow of lighting. Why I like this a little bit better than the other is in a kitchen application, no matter how much you try or how many pucks you try to put into a kitchen application, you'll always get some sort of cone effect along your backsplash. When you deal with linear light, it's consistent light along the backsplash and consistent light all the way to the front end of your cabinet here. This is a great light for under cabinet lighting. It's a task light, it's luniform. A better light than this is our SimpLED 2.0. If you look at the SimpLED 2.0, look at the light output of this, which is our Eurolinks, okay? So this is a good light output. But watch the SimpleEd 2.0. Much brighter and a much better task light than the Eurolinks. So in the world of good, better, best, good would be your 120M, better would be your Eurolinks, and best would be your SimpleEd 2.0. The SimpleEd 2.0 also allows you to place diffusers on here. We have a clear, a semi-frosted, and a frosted. So therefore, the homeowner can determine what type of diffuser they want to place on there. If they have a very high sheen surface, then they could put the frosted diffuser on there. The actual diodes themselves are luniformed. Therefore, you'll get a much better or much more consistent light underneath without the diode effects. But if you don't have a surface that has a sheen, maybe it's a concrete or a soapstone or a solid surface countertop, you won't need to put that on there because there is no reflection. Therefore, they could put the clear diffuser on there. So that gives you a little bit more versatility at the homeowner level to determine what that light's going to look like on your countertop.